Welcome to my Waikato versus Otago coverage. First up, we'll have my end of match report, and then we'll have the interviews with Jono Gibbes and Roger Randle, the head and assistant coach of Waikato. We'll then have a chat with Matt Faddes, the captain of Otago, and we'll finish off with a chat with Ben Herring, the head coach of Otago. So enjoy. Welcome to the full-time report from Waikato v Otago in the Mitre 10 Cup Championship final. Waikato have earned themselves promotion with a 36-13 win over Otago, gaining revenge for that loss at the end of the regular season and losing the Ranfurly Shield as well. As I've said, in that first half, we basically had Waikato having most of the possession, well, in fact, all of the possession and territory. And they actually butchered a number of chances, but they did get over the line 3 times. The only times Otago got to score in that first half were when Waikato kicked out on the full to give up territory, then gave a penalty afterwards for the 2 kicks, which is why it was 19-6 at half time. Basically, Waikato did try to put their dominance on at the line-out maul in that first half, but but in the end it was when they used that as a dummy and actually got the ball out the back, it was when they actually scored from that. So a bit of subterfuge and sort of mind games in that one. Second half, we had Otago come out and scored an early try, which suddenly got everyone interested. But before we could even tweet out about that score, straight off the restart, Otago let the ball go over the heads. Waikato, Tyler Campbell from Waikato collected it and ran over the line, put it down untouched. So that was, and so that really snuffed things out. And suddenly it was 26-13, about sort of only 4 minutes after half time. The game went and got a bit scrappy after that, both sides giving up the ball, both sides giving up penalties, and it didn't have much structure. Then we had a moment of individual magic from Lansdowne as he evaded Matt Faddes and managed to tightrope walk down the sideline. It looked like he might have just brushed the sideline, but he managed to stay. That one foot that went nearby, he actually was only on his toes and didn't put his heel down. If he put his heel down, he would have gone out of play, but he didn't. It was a fantastic piece of skill. Released Sevu Reese for his second try. At that 33-13 3-score lead, it all looked pretty much all over, and that was after 54 minutes. So we still had more than a quarter of the game to go. Otago did push Waikato a lot in that final quarter. They did, but at one point they gave away a penalty just inside their own half. Fletcher Smith kicked over his 4th penalty goal of the season. Yeah, they really have not kicked much at goal to make it a 4-point lead, and that really a 4-score lead. And that really wrapped things up. So yeah, it was a very good win by Waikato. I kind of think, I predicted by 10, it ended up being by 23. So big win for Waikato. I thought that if they were going to win, it would have to be by a big win, as Otago are very good in those close struggles. As close games, but Waikato never let it get into a close arm wrestle, and Otago just couldn't force that style of game. So congratulations to Waikato. Obviously they have now gained promotion straight back from being relegated, and let's get down and have a few interviews after the prize giving. So, mission accomplished. That was that's what you guys said was your big plan for the year. The Ranfurly Shield and piece was nice to have, but this was the big goal.
Did we set that as a goal? I think we started just trying to drive the teamwork and the whole group being strong and being hard to beat for 80 minutes, and that's where we started. And I think what's satisfying about tonight is that what the players have stuck in, what the players have invested, that's been rewarded tonight. And as a consequence of all of that sort of stuff, yes, we've gone back up, and that's the icing on the cake as well. But first and foremost, from coaching, it's that you're happy for the players that they're their investment was rewarded.
And had a quick chat with them on Wednesday, and word revenge came up, and they gained that tonight after the only the final loss in the season.
I don't think they've ever come up with us. It's just what Jono said. It was kind of just wanted to, play our game, and we felt like we probably last couple of weeks didn't start the way we wanted to because we focused a little bit more on the opposition. So it was just good to go out in a big game and perform for each other and I guess our families and friends.
Jono, as a coach, you came back here and Whitey and Rog put together a side. You went round and looked. You pulled people like Marieti back. We got Dwayne Sweeney sitting on 94 odd games, close to his ton. Just one more year, Dwayne. You set some pretty high benchmark goals for the team to achieve. Did you achieve those ones you set? Because we spoke last week and you said there's still a couple more I need to achieve. Have you got them?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's satisfying to see what the players have put in, and it's a privilege to wear that jersey, and there's a cost involved in wearing that jersey and representing our province. And for me, I think those players understood the opportunity that they have, and then took care of the responsibility that they have when they pull that jersey on to represent our people. So I think they can be really proud of what they achieved, those players, I think, as a whole group. And not just the 23 that you saw regularly, but we had guys that didn't get selected a hell of a lot. And I think they kept their standards high, even though selection wasn't looking likely for them because the guys that were selected were doing the job. But I think that's a real positive for us. That's something that we really enjoyed as a coaching group, was watching guys that have the disappointment of non-selection match after match still prepare properly and still train with the right level. And
word on the street was that some of the trainings were tougher than games.
Well,
not from the backs.
I was
not
going to
from the
say.
backs.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Yeah. Backs. No, trainings were appropriate. I think we finished. We didn't limp into the playoffs this year. We sort of, we got a bit of a wake-up call from Otago before the semi, but I think you look at what Hursty and Luke Basu have done, Teresa and the medical team, the coach's game plan has been implemented, Rogers, but it's because the support staff have done a tremendous job and kept our squad healthy and fit and not limping into the playoffs, as I say.
Jono, what's been the most pleasing aspect of this campaign? It started relatively slowly, but then just kept alive suddenly and didn't look like it was going to stop, that momentum.
I think there's a few little things that you notice along the way that's satisfying, that's pleasing. I think for me and Rog, watching the Bay of Plenty game, the first 40 of the Bay of Plenty game, and our boys getting it and how they can put their game plan together and play their style, that was pleasing. I think even little things like our captains running Northland and the attitude of the players to prepare as thoroughly as they could for a team that they'd lost a little bit of dignity against in the past. So there's little things that you notice like that. Burnsy getting 50 and playing an absolute stormer. So there's just stuff like that, and I think you pay tribute to Swings. He's the outlier in this competition. Players like him that are old, and that but inside the environment, he is absolutely gold for us, and the way he helps prepare and disperse information, and he is. I think he should be really satisfied with his campaign.
Jono, tonight in the warm-up, that was the most aggressive warm-up I've seen on the field before a game from the Waikato this year, from my perspective up in the commentary tower.
Yeah, look, to be honest, we don't know anything about warm-ups. We don't, because we go oh, I think that one was pretty good. And then they start slow. Then we think, oh man, that one is pretty average. And then they come out and blow the doors off it. So yeah, look, it could be. We don't know. So I think that's fair enough, isn't it?
Yeah. Roger, the attack of this team has got a lot of the headlines. The likes of Sevu scoring 14 tries this year. But tonight's defensive performance was perhaps one of the best of the year. What do you put that down to?
Oh, I think, I guess around the mindset. Jono come up with a pretty simple plan about what we wanted to do, and in areas we haven't been good enough the last couple of weeks. And the players come up and with some line speed and some real intent, and they're pretty accurate with their one-on-one tackles. So, I think that was a big plus for us.
And Sevu finished the season with 14 tries. Had he got another one, it would have been one off your record. Would you have pulled him off?
I don't know anything about that. But yes, Sevu, he's been outstanding again tonight. So he scored 6 tries in big games that count. So I know it's well documented, but he'd be looking to hopefully get a contract at a higher level. He certainly warrants that with his performances.
Well, let's look at that. Start of the season with really no players in Super Rugby contracts.
Yeah.
Come out at the end of the season, I reckon there's probably 7 that I'm saying minimum should be deserving of them.
Yeah, I think there's.
I don't know how it works.
Yeah, I think there's.
It's beyond me too.
Contracting is a bit complicated. Roger knows well. I don't. So.
We've got one starting super player. I think that's Toby Smith. I think, and then you've got guys that may have played 2 or 3 games. Sweeney did play super a few years ago, but the look, people can be proud because these guys have played in our club comp and they play for the Melvilles, they play for the old boys varsities, and so they're seeing them every weekend play club rugby, and then they're playing up against super players, and it's just we're just so proud of them as a young group and what they've done. Jono's come back with some real simple philosophies and really simplify what rugby is to us and what it means to be a Waikato rugby man. So a lot of that stuff is enduring, irrespective of who's here next year. Those traits have been our past, now, and they're still our future. So it's good that those young guys will carry those forward.
Is that us?
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks so much, fellas.
So Matt, and it's our 3rd time having a chat this season. The first 2 after some good wins for you, but it wasn't to be tonight though.
Yeah, it wasn't our night. I mean, Waikato were outstanding, I thought. They really took the opportunities, especially in that first half, and played some exceptional footy. And in the backs, we made too many mistakes. I thought we defended really, really well, but it was just too many slips and one-off tackles. And I mean, they really capitalised on the line breaks.
Yeah, they did. They were getting the good line breaks, but it looked in that first quarter when you slotted over 2 penalties at 7-6, it was like, oh, maybe here's an opportunity of kind of those intercepts and those sneaking backs while having to be under pressure. But that it didn't turn out that way in the end.
Yeah, 100%. I thought we stayed in the game really well for that first 50 minutes, really, especially after half time. We were first to score, and it really tightened things up. And I mean, they scored straight after that, which wasn't overly ideal, and then they got a bit of a roll on and kept playing some exceptional footy. So I mean, well done to them. They deserve the victory, and I mean, it's just a shame that we couldn't put out a decent performance for the final, especially in our back line. I think our forwards worked really hard and did really well, and I mean, I think our backs have been one of the better back lines in the competition this year, and unfortunately we didn't show it tonight.
Yeah, but second in the table, the Ranfurly Shield, as a season overall, it's been a pretty good season though.
For sure. I mean, it's probably been almost, at the start of the year, it was considered almost a rebuilding year. With new coaches, we'd had a whole lot of new players, especially in the forward packs, and players came out of club rugby and really stood up and played some awesome footy. So, I mean, we've really grown a lot as a team this year, and the culture's been awesome, coach has been really good, and I mean, everyone was just stoked to play for Otago week in, week out. So, I mean, that's all you can ask for is your best performances and just being happy and wanting to play for Otago.
It's been an absolute privilege to cover this competition this season, and you're talking about club players. I've talked about it at Waikato, Northland. We're talking about all their club players, and the club scene is really producing some decent players. It's nice and strong in New Zealand at the moment.
Definitely. I mean, you look at the Waikato team as well, and there's probably not a hell of a lot of superstars that have played heaps of Super Rugby, and so I mean they've had a great year. I mean, they had a slow start, and ever since I think it was their 4th game in, they really turned it on against Wellington and have taken the season by the balls really, and played some exceptional footy.
Great, thank you for your time. Enjoy the season off. Heading off to an island or the Gold Coast. What's your holiday plans?
Probably go bush and go hunting. I think that's the plans. Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. Good luck with hunting, and catch you next season.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Cheers, mate.
Cheers. Thank you. So, hi Ben. So the final obviously didn't go the way that you kind of wanted, but second in the table, you've made the final, you've got the Ranfurly Shield. Overall, the season has been a bit of a success.
I think the biggest success this year has been just the way our group of men have galvanised off the field, particularly. The culture and the environment is really growing, and it's been a really enjoyable season. A lot of fun, a lot of laughs, and that's a lot of growing of men outside of footy, and that's been the most pleasing thing I've enjoyed about this year.
I'm hearing that from quite a few of the coaches, that they're a bit sad it's coming to an end. We heard something similar from up in Auckland as well. Perhaps wanted to continue because he's.
Look, this season is a whirlwind of a season, so it sort of flies by before you know it. And the way rugby's played here, I actually really enjoy it. I think the spirit of rugby is alive and kicking in Mitre 10 rugby, and it's great to be part of. So, really look forward to next season. And the heart and passion in this competition is excellent. So it's a great standard rugby.
So, how do you? So we're going off topic here, but in the off season, the guys go off to Super Rugby, they go off to the clubs. How do you sort of keep contact with them? What will you be doing in the off season to prepare for next season?
Oh, look, there'll be lots of phone calls, lots of dinners around at my house. We'll put on pots of curry and things for those not away in super teams, and we'll just continue the feeling and the mood that's been created so far, and get the boys really tight as a unit on and off the field.
Because it's not just a sort of 4-month job coaching Mitre 10 Cup now. It's an all year round effort, and you have to be totally committed to it, not off to do other sort of part-time jobs.
I think there's depending how each union is structured, I think it differs. It's certainly a lot of non-playing time, in which you can potentially do other things, but for unions which are growing and want to drive the bigger picture stuff around the community, there's always things that you can do to help grow the bigger picture stuff.
Cool. Thank you very much for your time, and congratulations on your first season as coach of Otago, and look forward to seeing you next year.
Pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
That was a great